Hello, friends. It's Simone, and I am journaling. I'm eating a vanilla bean scone from Trader Joe's, and I'm drinking homemade cold brew with some sweet cream. And I am not going to stop this voiceover again because you can hear the dinging sound of my text messages because my friend Maria is texting me all the time right now. So it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. I usually don't share me writing into my Hobonichi Cousin because I sometimes feel like it's super boring. But I've been, first of all, I've been kind of slacking in my journaling recently. I just don't really have it in me to sit down and think. I really enjoy keeping up with all the smaller things that I'm using, like my making diaries and my Hobonichi weeks, which turned into a gratitude journal. And then I also love logging my day in the monthly section of this cousin right here. The book that I'm using, if you don't know and if you haven't followed me already and watched any of my other videos, is a Hobonichi Cousin day free. So it has the monthly pages in the front and undated pages in the back. The monthly pages I use to write a small, tiny synopsis of my day. It's not even full sentences. Sometimes it's just the thing that happened today or the two things that happened. Nothing outrageous, nothing really big, but I feel good writing it down. I don't know that this is something that you necessarily have to do because sometimes every day is the same. Um, Maybe that's exactly why I do it because even though it seems like every day is the same, there's something happening each day that is not the same. And maybe that's what I'm writing down. I can't really tell you because usually I start on the days that I work, I start with work. So the first thing that is there, work. And then I kind of chronologically list what I did. And by listing that, sometimes there's a tiny thing that happened that I remember, and then I write it down. So maybe what I'm doing with the daily log is making sure that not every day blurs into the other and is the same, but that each one of them is distinguishable. Could be. Um, and as you know, or as you can see right now, I'm not really talking about what I'm writing because first of all, what I see on my screen when I do the voiceover is a teeny tiny snippet of the video. So if I don't remember what I wrote, I can't even retell it. The photo that I wrote about is my dad on a play structure thingy at the playground. My sister took the photo. I really loved it. It just warms my heart. And so that's exactly what I wrote, that I love having it in my journal. And then I wrote about this card deck. I got it from Amazon. There is another one by this artist, author. I don't really know what it is you would call the person who made this, but I really love the way this is made up. It is an artsy thing, an artsy card with an affirmation on it. I'm intrigued by the cards that people pull when they do tarot, but I know by reading, I did some small research just to check out if that would be something that I was interested in. And I quickly found that it is not. Um, but I still loved the concept of the card. And so having an affirmation with some art on a card that I can pull randomly um, sounds intriguing. And it's really interesting to pull one and think about how the affirmation can be something for me today. Um, I actually use those for my ink journal. So I'm usually writing down a sample of writing with two different nib sizes so that I can see how the ink looks when it's a thinner nib and a broader nib. And so what I've been doing is pulling a card for each of the inks. So every ink sample has a different phrase that is there. If you have been a subscriber for a while, you know that last year in 2020, I also used a Hobonichi Cousin in the second half of the year, and I really enjoyed and loved using watercolors to create backgrounds and to write titles ish. For some reason, this year, I'm more into the different markers that I have. In the beginning of the year, I think in February, I purchased the Clean Color Zig dot markers. Oh my gosh, Zig dot markers, as well as the Sailor Shikiori brush pens. I am absolutely in love with both, and they were well worth the price. I would actually love to use them more than I'm using them now because they are so amazing. Um, I'm refilling my fountain pen right now. I knew I was getting low, but I didn't think it was completely out. It was filled with Diamine Aurora Borealis, and I absolutely enjoy that color. That is one of those inks on my list that I want to purchase a full bottle of. Um, since I just restarted the voiceover, I'm not 100% sure if I told you how I like using a water brush with my markers. So if you just apply some marker on there, most of the markers are water soluble. That's what the word is. And you can use a water brush, just any kind of brush. It doesn't have to be one with a water tank. It can be any kind of brush, and you just dip it in water, and then you use the brush to solve the ink from the paper and spread it out. That's what I used. You can't see it right now because I put this Hobonichi right on top. But you can actually see it, the speech bubble. That's how I made that. And here I am making a chromatography strip for this specific ink. I hadn't started my ink journal then. I thought I was going to use one page per ink, but it turns out that I actually am going to spread out all the information and the stuff that I want to capture for each ink on 4 pages. So I removed some of the pages of the Hobonichi, which isn't problematic at all because I don't need. I'm using the dates that are on the pages as page numbers, so it doesn't really affect me if there is pages missing. Have you seen The Mitchells and the Machines? I think that's what the name is of this movie. We recently watched it. Well, recently is a bit under an understatement. In the spring, maybe in May, beginning of June, we watched it, and it totally got me. I didn't think I would cry this hard at watching this specific movie, but um, I felt the pain that the dad had, or maybe I saw the relationship between my oldest son and my husband a bit. Like the love, the dad means well, but he is not able to express his love to his daughter, his teenage daughter. And so I don't know, I bawled my eyes out when I watched it because it just was so relatable for me. So if you're a mom of teenagers, highly recommend, because maybe, or watch it with your teenagers because maybe they can actually understand um, where you are coming from sometimes. I thought all of the characters were absolutely relatable. So, highly recommend. That's what I journaled about underneath the. I just printed the movie poster on white paper and stuck it in there and then journaled underneath. Um, what else did I want to tell you? Yes, I um, have been journaling. I don't really remember if I talked about this in a video before. If I haven't, then here is new stuff for you. If I have and you've watched it, well, then just listen to it again. Um, I'm I'm more into catching up in my smaller notebooks, my gratitude journal, my making diaries, and my daily log. And this I have to be in the mood for. I have to want to sit down. I want to have the time. I want to be energized enough to actually do something instead of just staring at the page. And so sometimes I am you probably three different kinds of stages. I am just smashing down stuff that I have collected over a couple of or weeks. Then I'm just adding it randomly onto pages. The next step would be looking at all the different. Then when I've done that, then I go through and I add maybe a title, or I I look at sometimes I stuck in things that I want to journal about where I know I want to write a lot. If I'm in the mood to write a lot, then I go in and write. And maybe the page isn't filled completely. And the next time I open it and I'm looking through where is still space. Do I want to write something here? Do I want to um, add some more decoration? As you can see, there's some pages are filled with stuff and some are not. And so that's the three different types that I'm currently doing, and I really enjoy this more. It feels less pressured, and yeah, maybe you can gain some insight from this explanation. I hope to see you soon. Until then, bye.